You step out your front door right in the middle of like a live video call, and your phone switches from your home Wi-Fi to cellular,
Tiny,
and
and it just freezes.
right, the whole thing just freezes. You drop, you reconnect, you're apologizing. I mean, we have all been there.
It is so frustrating.
It is. But that friction is exactly what we are unpacking today. We're looking at a stack of protocol research, architectural overviews to really understand QUIC and HTTP3.
Right.
Because these are the invisible, brilliant upgrades that are fundamentally rewiring the internet to be faster, more resilient, and just perfectly suited for how we actually live.
Yeah, and to appreciate how radical this shift is, we really have to look at the old plumbing, right? Which is TCP, or the Transmission Control Protocol.
Right.
For a long time, it was the gold standard for sending data reliably, but it has a major structural flaw for modern web traffic.
Because, well, okay, let's unpack this. It suffers from what's called head-of-line blocking.
Yeah.
And the best way to visualize TCP is to think of it like this massive freight train. Like, if one car in the middle derails, which in network terms is just a single lost packet of data, the entire train just has to stop.
Yeah, even if the cargo behind the crash is for a completely different image or, a different video stream on your phone, everything just halts until that one missing piece is recovered.
Right.
Which is why web pages will sometimes just sit there, half-loaded, waiting on a single tiny icon. But what's fascinating here is that QUIC entirely replaces that freight train by using a different base protocol called UDP.
Okay.
So instead of a rigid train, UDP allows QUIC to act more like a massive fleet of independent delivery drones.
Ah, I like that.
Yeah, it creates multiple isolated streams of data. So if one drone gets lost or, drops the packet, only that specific delivery pauses. All the other drones just keep flying right past it to drop off their packages on your screen.
Wow. Okay. Real quick before we get further into the drones and the streams, I do want to mention that this podcast is sponsored by Embersilk. So if you need help with AI training or automation, integration, or software development, they were definitely the ones to check out. Uncovering where agents can make the most impact for your business or even your personal life.
Yeah.
Just check out embersilk.com for all your AI needs.
Absolutely.
But okay, going back to the drones, if these streams are moving so fast and they're bypassing traditional TCP traffic rules, aren't we just blowing past the security checkpoints? I mean, it sounds like a trade-off, right? Where we get speed, but we're sacrificing safety.
That's the logical assumption. But QUIC actually hardwires the security directly into the speed.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When your phone talks to a server via the old TCP method, they have to do this multi-step handshake just to say hello and, establish a connection.
Right.
And then they have to do a completely separate time-consuming handshake just to set up the encryption lock. But QUIC combines these. It utilizes what's called a 1RTT handshake, meaning one round-trip time.
Okay.
It passes the secret decoder ring for TLS 1.3 encryption at the exact same time it says hello.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's bypassing the delay, not the security.
Okay.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Let's go back to that front door scenario.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi drop.
Right. When my phone drops my home Wi-Fi and connects to the cell tower, it gets a completely new IP address. So how does QUIC keep the video call alive if my network address literally just changed?
So that is where connection IDs or CIDs come in.
CIDs, okay.
Historically, your session was tied directly to your IP address. So when the IP changed, the server assumed you were a different person and just severed the connection. But QUIC assigns a unique CID tag to your device that exists completely independently of your IP address.
So the server doesn't even care where I am. It just reads the tag.
Precisely. You step out the door, your IP address flips to cellular. But the server sees that same CID and just keeps the video data flowing without a single hiccup.
That's incredible.
It really is. And because UDP doesn't require a device to constantly check in and say, I received packet A, now send packet B, it eliminates those tiny micro delays that make apps feel sluggish. That's called tail latency. It's why Meta saw a 20% reduction in latency after deploying QUIC, and YouTube actually saw video stalls drop by up to 50%.
Wow, 50% is huge.
Yeah.
But looking at the research, so what does this all mean for the servers themselves? Because QUIC requires a lot more CPU power, right? Since it runs in user space rather than the operating system kernel.
Yeah, that is a physical tool. Think of the operating system kernel as the highly optimized VIP section of a computer's brain.
Okay.
It's incredibly efficient, but very hard to change. User space is more like general admission. It's flexible, which, allowed engineers to build and test QUIC very
Right.
quickly.
But it lacks the direct, efficient hardware access of the VIP section.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Processing all that heavy encryption in general admission drains the CPU.
Wait, but if the whole point of QUIC was to bypass the rigid legacy rules of the kernel, isn't putting it back in the kernel just repeating the same mistake?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's not about going backward at all. It's about upgrading the VIP section to actually understand the new rules.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, engineers are already rolling out KQUIC, which safely integrates QUIC's processing right into the kernel, alongside specialized hardware that handles the encryption math instantly.
Oh, that's brilliant.
It really is. It's a beautiful example of human ingenuity solving its own bottlenecks. We are actively clearing the path for zero-lag cloud gaming, live streaming that simply does not buffer, and just a beautifully seamless web experience.
It really is so inspiring, and it makes you wonder about the shifting balance of power, too, because if QUIC encrypts almost its entire wire image, meaning all that connection structure is completely hidden, intermediate networks can no longer snoop on your traffic.
Right.
It's this massive win for personal digital privacy. It puts the power back in the hands of the individual, which is just an incredible engineering triumph. Definitely something to think about the next time your phone just effortlessly switches to cellular.
Absolutely.
Well, if you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe to the show. Hey, leave us a 5-star review if you can. It really does help get the word out. Thanks for tuning in.